The nation watched in shock, their eyes glued to screens, their hearts heavy with disbelief. President Joe Biden, still recovering from a bout of COVID-19, announced his withdrawal from the 2024 presidential race, a decision that left many speechless. This unprecedented move, delivered through a simple social media post, sent shockwaves through the country, reverberating through every corner of the political landscape. Never before had a sitting president withdrawn from a re-election bid this close to Election Day, making this a moment that will be etched in history. The future of the Democratic Party, already uncertain, was thrown into further disarray, leaving party leaders scrambling for a path forward. The announcement came after weeks of speculation and mounting pressure on the president, with every move scrutinized by the media and the public. His age, his health, his ability to lead, all were called into question, fueling debates and discussions across the nation. Biden, a figure who has spent his life in the political arena, found himself at a crossroads, facing one of the toughest decisions of his career. The weight of the nation, it seemed, was simply too much to bear, a burden that even a seasoned leader like Biden struggled with. While the president recuperated, the nation buzzed with questions, conversations filled with uncertainty and concern. How did we get here? What series of events led to this unprecedented moment in American history? What led to this historic decision? Was it a culmination of health issues, political pressure, or something more? And what does it mean for the future of American politics? The implications are vast and far-reaching. The answers, like the man himself, are complex and layered, a reflection of the turbulent times we live in and the intricate web of politics that shapes our world. The decision to withdraw, Biden revealed, was not made lightly. It was a choice that weighed heavily on his mind and heart. It was the culmination of a grueling 48 hours filled with sleepless nights and endless deliberations, a period of intense reflection and consultation where every possible outcome was considered. As he recovered from COVID-19, the president surrounded himself with his closest confidants, family, friends, and trusted advisors. Their presence provided a semblance of comfort amidst the chaos. Mike Donnellan and Steve Ricchetti, names synonymous with Biden's inner circle, were there, offering their seasoned perspectives. They brought with them not words of comfort, but the cold, hard truth, unfiltered and direct. Polling data, assessments from top Democrats all painted a bleak picture of Biden's chances. The numbers were stark and unforgiving. The presidency, they seemed to say, was slipping away, and the reality was undeniable. On Saturday night, Biden gathered his family. It was a moment of unity and shared concern. It was a tradition before momentous decisions, a way to seek solace and wisdom from those who knew him best, those who had been with him through thick and thin. The air was thick with unspoken words, the gravity of the situation hanging heavy in the room. Every glance, every sigh carried weight. The atmosphere was tense, filled with a mix of hope and dread, as they all understood the magnitude of the decision at hand. By Sunday morning, the decision was made. Biden would withdraw. It was a resolution born out of necessity, shaped by the harsh realities he faced. The seeds of doubt, however, had been sown long before Biden's illness. Whispers about his capability had been circulating in political circles and among the public for months. The turning point, many argue, was the disastrous CNN debate back in June. It was a night that would be remembered for its intensity and unexpected outcomes. Biden, facing off against a reinvigorated Donald Trump, seemed unsteady, unsure of himself. His responses were slow, and his demeanor lacked the confidence that had once defined his political career. His age, once a mark of experience, suddenly became a liability. The wisdom that came with years of service was overshadowed by the visible signs of aging. The Biden camp tried to downplay the performance. Jet lag, they said, a bad night. They insisted it was a one-off event, not a reflection of his true capabilities. But the damage was done. The media frenzy that followed only amplified the concerns, making it impossible to ignore the growing doubts. The image of a faltering Biden, struggling to keep pace with his younger opponent, was seared into the public consciousness. It became a defining moment in the campaign. The debate crystallized what many had feared. Biden was simply too old for the job. The whispers turned into conversations, and conversations into public debates. The demands of the presidency, the constant pressure, the weight of the world, it was all too much for a man in his 80s. The physical and mental toll was evident. The whispers started, then grew louder until they became a roar that could no longer be ignored. The nation was now questioning if Biden could continue to lead effectively. The CNN debate was a blow, but it was the reaction within his own party that truly shook Biden. Whispers of doubt, once confined to hushed conversations, were now out in the open. Democratic leaders, sensing weakness, began to distance themselves. Senator Mark Warner of Virginia, a respected voice within the party, tried to organize a meeting with Biden. The topic? A graceful exit strategy. The attempt, leaked to the press, only added fuel to the fire. Biden, once a unifying figure, was now a liability. House Democratic leader Hakeem Jeffries, sensing the shifting tides, held a call with House Democrats. The message was clear: Biden couldn't win. Even Hollywood, a reliable source of Democratic support, turned its back. George Clooney, in a scathing New York Times op-ed, called for Biden to step aside. Section 5. A momentary pause, then back to crisis, then a reprieve, a shocking event that shifted the nation's attention away from Biden's faltering campaign. An assassination attempt on former President Donald Trump during a rally in Butler, Pennsylvania, sent shockwaves through the country. For a brief moment, the focus was on national unity, on shared grief and outrage. Biden, the elder statesman, offered words of comfort, of resilience, but the respite was short-lived. The underlying issues, the doubts about Biden's ability to lead, remained. Behind the scenes, the whispers started again. Democratic pollsters circulated memos, their message dire: Biden was heading for defeat, not just defeat, but a crushing loss that would have devastating consequences for the entire Democratic Party. Section 6. Party leaders sound the alarm. The dam broke when Representative Adam Schiff, a leading Democrat and a key figure in Trump's first impeachment, went public. Biden, he declared, should step aside. Schiff's words, measured but firm, carried immense weight. The message was clear: this was an intervention. Others followed suit. Representative Jamie Raskin of Maryland, another prominent Democrat, confirmed sending a letter to Biden. The message was the same. For the good of the party, for the good of the country, it was time to go. CNN dropped a bombshell. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi had personally told Biden he couldn't win. The polls, she argued, were crystal clear. Staying in the race would be disastrous, not just for him, but for the entire Democratic Party. Section 7. The money dries up, donors revolt. The final blow came from an unexpected quarter: the donors. These wealthy individuals and organizations, the lifeblood of any political campaign, had finally had enough. They had watched Biden's debate performance, seen the polls, heard the whispers. Frustration turned to anger, then to action. Phone calls were made, letters were written. The message was clear: no more money. Not for Biden and not for any Democrat who continued to support him. Two major donors, speaking anonymously to CNN, revealed a stunning ultimatum: remove Biden from the ticket or watch as the money dries up. The message was clear: Biden was no longer a viable candidate. He had become a liability, a drag on the entire Democratic ticket. The donors, with their wallets and their influence, had spoken. Section 8. Biden's defiance crumbles. Despite the mounting pressure, the dwindling support, Biden remained defiant. He was a fighter, a survivor. He had weathered storms before, and he would weather this one. His schedule remained packed: rallies, interviews, speeches. He was determined to project an image of strength, of vitality, but the pressure was taking its toll. The doubts, once confined to the whispers of others, began to creep into his own mind. Then came COVID-19. The forced isolation, the time away from the campaign trail, gave Biden a chance to reflect, to finally listen to the doubts, both his own and those of his closest allies. The decision, when it finally came, was a quiet one. On Sunday, July 16, 2024, Biden informed his senior staff. He was withdrawing from the race. The fight for him was over. Section 9. The fallout and the future. The news of Biden's withdrawal sent shockwaves through the political landscape. The Democratic Party, already reeling from months of uncertainty, was now facing a full-blown crisis. The election, just months away, was suddenly up for grabs. Questions swirled. Who would replace Biden as the Democratic nominee? Would it be Vice President Kamala Harris? Or would the party turn to a new face, a fresh start? And what about the Republicans? Would Trump, energized by Biden's exit, cruise to victory? The coming weeks and months would be crucial. The Democratic Party, facing its greatest challenge in a generation, had to regroup, to choose a new leader, and to convince a weary electorate that they were still the party of hope, the party of the future. Section 10. A nation reflects on an unprecedented election. Biden's historic withdrawal from the 2024 presidential race will be studied, analyzed, and debated for many years to come. It was a decision born of crisis, a confluence of factors that ultimately proved too much for even the most seasoned politician to overcome. As the nation prepares for an election unlike any other, one thing is certain: American politics is at a significant crossroads. The old rules no longer apply, and the future is uncertain and unpredictable. The only question is, what path will the nation ultimately choose?